I said earlier we'd open up the phone lines for Mikko Rantanen trade reactions, and we'll do that right now. Little emergency Friday NHL Trade Deadline edition of Monday Sound Off. We'll call it a Friday Sound Off. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for your reactions to Mikko Rantanen or any of the other moves that the Canes did or didn't make. 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. Joe in Raleigh is up first. Joe, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
I just want to say I'm glad we got rid of him. He was pouting like a little kid the entire time he was here. I mean, you know, you watched him last night against the Bruins, and when he was on the ice, it was like 4-on-5. I saw him throw his stick at a guy at the top of the blue line on the defensive zone. I was literally thinking to myself, I could go play better hockey than that. Like, I mean, it was pathetic watching the guy play. And I don't care if he's 6'4", or whatever, and we got a 5'8" guy and replaces him. I'd rather have a guy 5'8", guys like Seth Jarvis who give 100% than some 6'4" giant baby skating around the middle of the rink, soaking up salary cap space.
Anything else, Joe? That was fantastic. I'm going to give you all the time and space you need if you want to keep going, but did you get that off your chest?
I mean, you know, professional hockey player getting paid millions of dollars, he can't prove he's done anything away from Nathan McKinnon out in Colorado, you know, a top 5 player in the league. I think Dallas got fleeced, if you want to know the truth. Depending on what we do with those 2 first-round picks, whether we flip them next year at the trade deadline,
get him, Joe.
Somebody late that winds up being a producer. I mean, I think we did great.
Get him, Joe. Appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. You're on the cool list. Few things. One, Mikko was really bad last night. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Dude sucked last night. I mean, call it what it is.
Orlov wasn't in the game, so Mikko said, "I'll get your turnovers, my turnovers, and Apple turnover just for good measure." I don't necessarily blame him for last night. Playing when your name's in every trade rumor is tough. The previous 12 games and totaling 2 goals scored, those start to become the issue. So I'm with it. I will. The fan base turned on him on a dime. It went from like do anything it takes to get him to re-sign to get him the heck out of here. I hate this guy quickly.
Yeah, well, when you can tell someone's not bought in,
yep.
Okay,
yep.
I'm not going to buy into you if you're not going to buy into us. Simple as that.
And that's for everything in life, right? It's like if you're here and you're pouting, leave, right? No, you have options. Go take them. We'll send you where do you want to go. Craig and Raleigh up next on the Heister Automotive Group hotline here on a special Friday Sound Off. If you have takes on the Mikko Rantanen trade, we want to hear them. Craig, go ahead and sound off. Thanks for calling.
Okay, terrific. Obviously, a lot of passion. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you'll get a lot more passion. I'll try to stay a little calmer, but very passionate about this.
Love it.
Couple points here. First, my assessment, Mikko Rantanen is not a top 10 player. He's not a top 10 player, okay? Mm-hmm. He rides the coattails of people around him. Nothing wrong with that. You need people who follow the rush and then they clean up. Mm-hmm. That's great. But he's not. He needs a facilitator, a big league facilitator, to be a 100-point player. We don't have that, okay? No, I love Aho and everybody else. We don't have that big-time facilitator. The thing about him, I need time to think about this. This is probably the most passionate point I have. I just got traded. I wasn't expecting this. I need time to think about this. If you're a $1 million professional, you're making millions of dollars, mm-hmm. especially in the business world, but in sports as well. You know, you're 18 years old, 20 years old. You live a different life than most people. He knew what he was doing here. He didn't want to be here from day one. It was reported in a Finland newspaper. You can go out on the internet, find it. Uh-huh. Right after the trade, he was crying to them, saying, I don't understand what happened. I would have taken less than fair market value, is what he said. I don't understand. So he was playing hardball. He's not a Draisaitl. He's not, again, a top 10. I won't list out who all those are. Another example. First 13 games, Necas has 15 points. Getzel, when he was traded to us, I'm sure it was a little bit of a deal for him. He had spent his whole career with Pittsburgh. Well, he had 14 points. Mikko, we know, the 6 points. So 15, 14, 6. All three of these outstanding people got put on a new team, and they had to deal with it. I think I heard somebody say, well, he hasn't had a chance to visit the art museum. I think maybe that was a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I was like, nah. And hey, Tim, or me, or Kevin, or whoever, you just got a $20 million a year deal to head up ESPN National across the country. You're going to be the face of the TV, the radio, whatever you want. We're going to court you, blah, blah, blah. What are we going to say? Well, think about it. Give us a week, a month. No. Fair business deal is give us 5 days. And I believe they did that. I don't fault Eric and all this.
Yep. All right, Craig, we got to move on. We got a lot of people on the line, but I love your passion, and you're right. You did come with some well-measured points, so thank you very much. Here's I agree with Craig on the I need time deal, because I have no problem giving a guy time, right? I have absolutely no issue giving a guy time if he wants time to make a life-changing decision. But then you didn't need time to decide for Dallas, did you? Like if I'm giving you time because you're a time guy, that's cool, but then I need to see consistency with that. If you're somebody that takes time to make decisions and I give you time and then you decide quickly elsewhere, it's like, ooh, right? It's no different than, we always use the relationship metaphor. It's no different than I want to marry you. And, I don't know. I'm not ready for marriage. I don't know if I'm the marriage type. I want to marry you. I don't know why. And then you break up and 6 months later they're engaged to someone else. It's like, okay, so all that you were telling me was a lie. If you need time to make decisions, you're a time to make decisions guy. You can't then go make a quick decision with someone else and expect me to be cool with it. It's different. Dean in Rocky Mount, you're next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Dean, thank you for calling in. What's your take?
Well, a couple of years ago, there was this viral meme where it said, we're rocking with Mark because Mark is rocking with us. Mm-hmm. And that's how it is here. If you're rocking with us, we're rocking with you. The simple matter of the fact is that Mikko Rantanen was not rocking with us, and I think that's why the turn was so quick. It's like, oh, he's not rocking with us. We're not going to rock with him. Now, Stankoven, hope he rocks with us. The guys we get from those first and third round picks, hope they rock with us. We're going to use this trade, get better. It's like, addition by subtraction. And you said it earlier, like this is the ultimate slap in the face. Mm-hmm. Think of any insult, and that's essentially what Mikko Rantanen is saying to the entire state of North Carolina and the state of Colorado. So all I'm going to say is that good riddance.
Good riddance. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Dean. I do think there is, and by the way, the Canes have some of that. They have some of Heat culture, Canes culture. You know what I mean? Not everybody's going to fit into that locker room, and if you're not rocking with it, you're not rocking with it. I do think there are certain players that are worth the trouble, right? Like Jimmy Butler obviously isn't somebody that has been cool in every locker room, but the Heat put up with him for a long time because he was really good. And Rantanen may have some of that. He may have been worth the trouble, but I'm sure there's some relief when somebody that's not having a good time and not buying in bounces. Will in Roanoke Rapids, you are up next on this special Friday sound-off involving the Mikko Rantanen trade here on 99.9 The Fan. Will, thanks for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Just keep it short. The way I look at it with Rantanen, if you add in Necas, you had two players that weren't going to stick around here, and I think the writing was on the wall with Rantanen from the get-go. So I'm not really stressing that part too much.
Okay.
Drury going out and Necas going out, and then having Fall, and now you get Stankoven and a couple first and a couple thirds. I'm not mad about the situation, honestly. I am mad at the way Rantanen handled it. It was pretty childish, but other than that, I'm happy with what we got.
There you go. And honestly, I think that's the way a lot of people are going to look at this in history. It's going to be, man, that was an annoying 6 weeks, but the trade's okay. Like, that's how it's kind of going to go down in history. It's just right now, it's too fresh. Wounds too new. Still hurts. Scott and Raleigh following that one up. Scott and Raleigh on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, which is open, by the way, 919-860-5326. We're taking your reactions to Mikko Rantanen heading to Dallas in exchange for the trade is Logan Stankoven, young center, 2 first-round picks, future 2026, 2027 from Dallas, as well as 2 third-round picks in those same drafts. Scott and Raleigh, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling. Please sound off.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. I pretty much echo the same sentiments as everybody else before me. I would say it's a little weird. We seem to check all the boxes for this guy, right? Like his childhood friends here were competitive. We offered to make him the highest paid winger in the league. He said he's not a big city guy. Like, I would consider this, obviously a small market. It's just very strange how he had like no buy-in from the jump, and then goes to Dallas, a place where he's never played, and agreed for 8 years there. I do want to give a shout out to Eric Tulsky for swinging the bat. I appreciate him going and doing this. Typically we don't see that in this market here.
Thank you.
Sucks we didn't hold on to him. But I think we may save some money. I think Dallas is going to have egg on their face here. I think he's nothing but a McKinnon merchant, and I think Nathan McKinnon made him a lot of money. I'll leave it there. I'll let you guys pick up elsewhere, but I wanted to get that out there. McKinnon merchant. This is a new nickname. He's public enemy number 1 here, and I can't wait to boo him when Dallas comes to town next year.
Appreciate the call. There's a saying. It used to be said all the time about like the early and mid 2000s Colts, which is Peyton Manning put my kids through private school, and like coaches would say it, teammates would say it, because playing with Peyton Manning made the offense better, and then those coaches got to go get other jobs because, hey, I was a coach on the 3rd leading offense and and hey, I caught 80 balls last year. I caught 60 balls last year, and it was all because of Peyton Manning. Maybe this is a Nathan McKinnon just put Mikko Rantanen's future kids through private school. Maybe that's the deal. I still think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be a fake radio host here. I can't sit here for 5 weeks and talk about how I think Mikko Rantanen could have been a foundational player for the Canes, and then as soon as he's traded away, go, he wasn't good. Like, I'm not going to flip up on you like that, but history could prove it, right? Could say he's never the player that he was alongside Nathan McKinnon. He wouldn't be the first to benefit from an all-time great setting him up. Back to the call-in lines we go. Isaiah in Wake Forest, you are up next. Feel free to go ahead and vent or gloat or sound off is what we call it, so have fun.
All right. I'm going to try to make this quick, but first I got to say, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of disappointed in the Canes front office. I personally really liked Martin Necas and Jack Drury. I thought they were really good players. Necas was playing a good season so far. I know he hasn't had a great playoff postseason, but I feel like as soon as the Canes traded for Rantanen and they saw, hey, he's like in the Finland newspaper that the guy beforehand mentioned where he was upset about going to Carolina, they should have realized that and been like, hey, he doesn't want to be here, and immediately been like, hey, here's our offer. Take it or leave it. If not, we're going to try to see the most we can get for you instead of waiting to the last possible minute and just scraping out as much value from him as they can get. And, I mean, I feel like after seeing 6-7 games from him, you can see that he's an extremely overrated player. He's not top 10. He looks better because he plays with a top 10 player in the country, and Nathan McKinnon.
Appreciate the call. I'm going to not push back on some of that, but I want to provide more context. So call back in anytime. I'm sure the Canes understood, because we talked about it, right? As soon as he showed up, there was the flu going around the team. Then there was the Four Nations Cup. I'm sure that they like it's moving on exceptionally quick would have felt like you didn't get the real look. You can't. Everyone's talking about, hey, shout out to Eric Tulsky for taking the big swing. You can't check swing a home run swing, right? You have to follow through. You have to risk, fall into one knee and your helmet falling off like your Bartolo Colon. You have to swing hard. You can't. There's no half stepping in this. Trade for Mikko Rantanen and then send him out, or start sending him out 5 days later. That's I just don't know if that's realistic. Looking back, obviously you'd like it because he didn't end up signing, but going back to 2 callers ago, it does appear as if the Canes have everything Mikko Rantanen would want, right? They offered him a bunch of money. They have his childhood friend on his same line. They have a winning history. He would get to be the guy, right? Which if he's leaving Nathan McKinnon and Makar out there in Colorado, you'd assume part of his goal was to be like the centerpiece. It seemed like the Canes had everything, and I'm sure the Canes thought they had everything. And turns out they did not. Dallas has something else. Who knows what that is? Back to the call-in line. A few more here before the top of the hour. Hunter in Lexington. This is a South Carolina caller. Hunter in Lexington. Appreciate you for calling in. Represent your home state and sound off on the Canes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say first that I was pretty excited when we signed Rantanen because, honestly, that's a huge deal coming from...
So was I. I completely agree. And everyone's going to act like they weren't because now they hate him, but I think most of us were in that same boat.
Yeah, Raleigh, arguably a pretty small market, kind of a growing hockey city. But the way that Rantanen came in and just started playing, obviously it probably had something to do with the emotions of getting traded. He was there for a while, but the effort's just not there. And someone playing like that, I don't want to see him on our team. And, we got Stankoven, who's a stud, 2 firsts and a third that we can eventually flip. Kind of sad we didn't go for Raquel, but that's just the way it goes. I say good riddance. He is probably public enemy number 1 for 2 of the biggest teams in the league right now.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the call, Hunter, and thank you for listening all the way from South Carolina. There's Stankoven is I don't want to get too Stankoven's a good piece. I don't want to get too far ahead with Stankoven.
We got to get a nickname for that guy. Is it Stanky?
Yeah, Stank. We got to see how he plays. You got to watch.
Yeah,
you got to watch. You got to see how he plays. How do you feel about this? Let's throw a line together of Jarvis, Stankoven, Blake. Nobody over 175 allowed on the line.
Right.
Just watch opposing defensemen's heads explode as they get worked by the Lollipop Guild. It would be hilarious. That's all I'm saying. It would be hilarious. We'll take one more quickly here before the top of the hour. Aaron in Raleigh. Thank you for calling in. You've been on hold for a minute here, so we want you to get on as quickly as you can. Sound off on the Mikko deal.
Well, thank you for having me. Newer listener, as somebody who works in sports, I really appreciate your take.
Thank you.
On things. So, just very quickly, is people have really sounded off on kind of my feelings towards Rantanen. I'm going to just sound off on how I feel towards the Canes in this deal.
All right.
And I actually think that we didn't get all we could get in this trade, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. Picks are great. But the whole thing with Rantanen, we traded Necas, we traded Drury, who didn't want to be here, it sounded like. The thing is with Rantanen, the idea was, okay, we have our future, let's go try and win now. And in the end, when you trade for a 22-year-old who isn't proven, don't get me wrong, he could be great, and you get a bunch of picks, my frustration is, okay, you made a win now move, and now it's like, okay, we could get some great things, and Stankoven could be awesome, but
they aren't right now. Is what you're getting at.
Of the playoff run now is this just going to be a flash in the pan of? Who knows?
Aaron, I get your point. We're up against it, and I want to give 30 seconds of response here. So thank you for calling in, but we are against the top of the hour. Appreciate it. Here's the deal. I'm not 100% sure that we all, myself included, didn't get out ahead of our expectations with the Canes a little bit this year. If you go back to preseason, there was quite a bit of took a step back from the year before, lost Pesci, lost Tavo, lost Brady Shea, like you can go on and on. They were going to take a step back, but eyes towards next offseason, all this cap space, Orlov coming off the books, on and on and on and on. And then something happened. Martin Necas turned into like Gretzky Lemieux for 15 games, and you won your 14 of your first 18, and everyone got very excited. There is an argument that this year was always, despite, and I again, hand up, I may have contributed to this, despite everybody getting really excited and thinking maybe this year could be better and more accelerated contenderdom than we originally thought. There's something to be said for having a whole bunch of picks, a whole bunch of cap space in your core in place going into an offseason. And by the way, it's not like you're going to lose this year. You're going to be in the postseason this year. You're not going to win your division. You're making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, probably a big win this year. If it sets you up for a window of 5 years going after cups legitimately, if it does bring in Mitch Marner this offseason, like if those happen, then you're going to look back at this trade and go, this is when we acquired all of the magic beans that turned into our giant beanstalk.